Hello, beautiful ones. How are you today? Welcome to this week's Multidimensional Lightworker Show. Remember, every week we come here live, unless I'm gone on holidays. But I'm here most of the time every week, every Tuesday at the same time, or Wednesday if you're in Australia. And every week we do choose a topic that is intimately connected to the growth of the light worker. So how he or she develops their intuitive power. So I'm just making sure that the microphone is the right one.
Think it wasn't the right one. There. So hello, let me know who's there. And if you're joining me a bit later as well, let me know. Sam is here. Hello, thank you for the compliments. I don't know who you are, but I'm happy to see you too. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to chat to you. And again, if you're watching this as a replay, simply let me know that you have been watching this, so you can do hashtag replay and you can share your impressions. So today we're talking about the inner divinity. It's Melinda. Yes, wonderful. Thank you for being here. And so the inner divinity is a term, the way the higher self is a term, the way divinity, your divinity is a term, or your super conscious mind is another term, but I use mainly the higher self and the inner divinity, but they mean the same thing. Today we reconnect to that energy. This is the foundational connection you want to have that will lead you to all your wonderful intuitive adventures beyond time and space. If that connection with your higher self is unclear, then you start to doubt. You start to wonder, am I really receiving clear indications? Am I really channeling? Am I really healing? Am I really sharing some kind of truth? Am I really gifted enough to share my gift, my abilities, my powers? So when the higher self connection is not clear and solid, then doubts set in. But everything is interconnected. If you doubt yourself, if life is more difficult at home, it's harder to trust your higher self. So it's always a question of balance. It's always trying to find balance between your intuitive growth and your connection with multidimensional realities and how you live your reality right now. So we will talk about this in depth as I have some updates to share with you. I have been, since my return from Antigua, I guess that's what the holidays are for too. They activate you. Not only they help you cleanse, and it was such a cleansing experience, but they also allow more room in your mind, in your body, so you can up-level your intuitive abilities, and the upgrades are infinite, never stops. So I will share what came through in the past days, and it will bring clarity around the notion of the higher self and how it is connected with the ascension and the awakening process of humanity. We will talk about that. And that, of course, will have an implication in the future group program I will offer, as I will add a specific module around this. It's too big to not be talked about. Before this, let me introduce myself if you're joining for the first time. I know most of you know me, but I'm Natalie. I am a channeler, a multidimensional channeler, which means that I connect to people's higher selves, but also any other kind of entity, energy, angels, archangels, collective galactic beings who want to share information with you, specifically you, the light workers. But when I work one-on-one, either in a small group or in a private setting, I definitely connect to the person's higher self and soul purpose, so we can see what is creating a block, what can be developed, and what is the mission. That's exciting. I love that. So let's enter in a beautiful state of relaxation so you can integrate everything I will share in words, not from a mental perspective, but from your heart center, from your body's perspective. Your body is, again, the first responder, the first aspect of your vessel that actually receive intuitive messages. So we want this aspect of you to hear, sense, feel, see anything that my words will activate within you. So let's do this. Let's close our eyes right now. Take a deep breath in through the nose and release completely until no more breath, like a big, big sigh of letting go. A big Let's do this 3 more times. Beautiful. So use your powerful imagination to create images in your mind. And remember, it doesn't matter how you see things and feel things. This experience is unique, as you will integrate it in a very unique way. And this integration, whether you see it consciously or not, will activate new codes, new dormant codes, which will upgrade gifts you already use, which will upgrade a perspective you have around humanity's awakening and your own up-leveling. So see yourself surrounded by a beautiful golden light. Today they want to work with gold light. So it may look like a bubble, it may look like a triangle, or it may look like another kind of shape. And either way, it's fine. Just allow yourself to see the golden light take a shape, a specific shape just for you around your body. This shape, or the energy of the golden light, is actually an energy that could be compared to a multidimensional transportation vehicle. It means that your body in its energetic form is now ready to travel to another reality where you can easily record, understand, hold, transmute, and alchemize the energies that will be shared through my words. Just know that my words are simply a code that humans have created to share an idea, but in this context, my words are just sounds that do not need to create some kind of sense, even though your mind may want to make sense of what will come through. But beyond that desire to create sense, you will feel that something is shifting in your ability to understand the concept of your higher self, human's higher self, and the awakening process. So see yourself somehow traveling through that portal of yours, that golden portal of yours. And when you feel relaxed, when you feel that somehow you have reached your destination, simply take a deep breath in through the nose, release, and breathe out and open your eyes. Beautiful. How do you feel? Relaxed. Wonderful. Today we're talking about the higher self, the divinity, but from a different point of view, from a different perspective. From the teachings I'm receiving through channeling and I observe through my work with my beautiful students, it's that the higher self is of course you vibrating at a higher dimension, but it is connected to you all the time. So even myself, when I use the word reconnection to your higher self, connection to your higher self, it's simply because I don't know how to find other words or how to phrase it differently, but you are always connected. So what we do actually is simply strengthening the communication with our higher self. So your higher self holds everything about you, every data beyond time and space. So you understand the importance of having a clear communication with that aspect of you. So it holds everything. So even though you might be tempted to work with archangels, with galactic collectives, Pleiadians, Arcturians, whomever wants to chat with you, in the end, everything goes through your higher self. Everything. Sometimes your higher self will even invite an energy that holds a certain vibration and a certain name so you can feel at ease with the information that is coming through. So your higher self is so wise that it's monitoring you every day, finding out, oh, is it a good time for him or for her to download more vision, to upgrade her? Okay, no, there's a little bit of stress, there's a little bit of doubts and worries, or she or he's over busy and there's no time for that. So your higher self will, it's as if it had access to your daily schedule and even the schedules in the coming days, whether you can imagine this or not. So it will know exactly where send an impulse of clarity in your reality, what we call upgrades. Feeling that, oh, I need to stop. I need to really stop because I feel something is happening. These are upgrades, meaning that you have codes within you that are holding a certain mission, a mission that can last a few weeks, a mission that can last an hour. But we need to ignite, we need to press on those codes so they can express themselves. So sometimes you are the one concretely activating them through a meditation, but most of the time, even if it's a conscious desire for you to activate something within you, a gift, an ability, or a vision, or a tool, or a power, your higher self already know that you will want to do this. So it prepares the terrain, it prepares the atmosphere, it prepares the whole setup for you to really download or upgrade yourself. So everything you think you plan or you program in your reality has been already seen by your higher self. It knows that tomorrow or today you will listen to Natalie, and that it might be a wonderful opportunity for your higher self to maybe unlock a few things within you. You see? So your higher self is always there. The only thing we can do is strengthen that relationship we have with that inner divinity, because again, it's actually a wonderful term, because your higher self is actually a divine aspect of who you are. It's a God aspect of who you are, and it is really that powerful. So when this connection is strong, the communication is fluid and clear, you don't doubt anymore. You actually even stop whenever you feel that your higher self wants to talk to you. Your higher self may use so many different external objects, tools, everything you have in your reality, whether it's your inner reality or external reality, it will use anything that is there to catch your attention. So it's always whether or not you're ready to listen. So that is the foundational part of everything. Some people probably are coming into the light working world through learning a modality, through a meditation, through maybe they're playing with cards. It doesn't matter which way you uncover your magic abilities. It's not that important, as long as at one moment in your life you decide consciously to strengthen that connection with your higher self. Again, it doesn't matter what you have learned. It doesn't matter what you have played with, what you have mastered. If you feel that right now you don't know always who you talk to, you may call them your guides. But let me tell you that your guides have been hired by your higher self. It might even be your higher self deciding to use certain names because it looks great. Great in terms like it looks like it resonates with you. So the higher self is a magician that can turn non-material things into sensations, into visions, so you can open your eyes and wake up to the fact that there's a communication happening right now. And I can assure you that if you listen to that communication that you are receiving and you decide to stop, listen, write about it, close your eyes, whatever feels right for you. You can even have that conversation a little bit later. It doesn't have to be exactly at the moment of the connection, but it is important that you pay attention to this communication. By doing this, you will exponentially accelerate the expression of your intuitive powers and the understanding of what needs to be healed within you. You will go a lot faster by doing this than by reading and practicing different healing modalities. I don't say it's not good, because I do feel it's everything is extremely powerful. I've used it myself. But it lasts whatever you will do that is external to you, so you can feel you connect a lot stronger to your higher self. Those external modalities or tools will never be as strong and powerful and lasting as what you create, as the connection you create with your higher self. So yesterday and definitely today, which isn't really interesting because last Sunday I had a workshop with a French community here in British Columbia. And that was all about it, how to develop your intuitive power. So of course, the notion of the higher self came again, and I explained it the way I explain it to you, but maybe more with regular terms that everybody would understand, as those people were not specifically light workers or healers, but the message went through. But what came through and was kind of solidified today, and again, that will create another module in the upcoming Abundant Lightworker group program. It's the relationship between the ego and the higher self. So I will very quickly share this with you, and please, if you have questions, comments, visions coming from this, or a moment of, oh my God, it's unlocking something within me, please share that. I really would love to know what it triggers within you. Maybe it's like, no, I don't resonate with this. Either way, I really would like to know. So the way they were showing this to me today is that for a human being to be considered almost fully awakened, I don't think there's a limit to the awakening stage or level, you know. But let's say that we could consider a person being awakened, being completely connected with higher dimensions of self. It's when the ego, the conscious mind, the ego, shares the control with the higher self. So right now you're a physical body, and that body on earth needs to interact with, of course, the world, with people, with physicality. So it means that you need to respond to external situations and events. Sometimes it's great to let it happen. Sometimes it's more defending yourself, clarifying things. Sometimes it's also things that happen against your will that may feel a little bit traumatic. Either way, your life experience on earth is actually building your ego, and your ego will build your personality. So the ego is the apparent master of your reality. It reacts to everything around you. And most of the time, it is highly protective. It remembers when you got hurt. It remembers when people you know got hurt. It remembers when you watch a show or a movie where people got hurt. So it's like, I'm not exposing my body, my life to things that are hurting. So the ego is really connected to the third dimensional reality. We need it. It allows us to make sure we look left and right before crossing the street. So we need it. And it's the dominant aspect of us that is leading our existence in this third dimensional reality. It doesn't mean that the higher self is not there. The higher self is actually the puppet master of everything. But the higher self is so rich in information. Remember, it knows everything about your future, your past lives, your family, your different avatars, it knows everything. It's so huge in terms of energy, and on the top of that, it holds the energy of love, of compassion, of like angelic energy. So you understand that everything I just shared could not be held in a person, not even the best channeler. It's like waking up one day and knowing everything about the existence of life, the origin of humanity, knowing everything that happened, and it's too much. So the ego knows what's happening. The ego knows that sometimes the higher self is trying to show you a little bit of your powers, a little bit of the possibilities, but the ego says, is that dangerous what you're trying to send to my being? Should I let it in, or is it going to expose me to more criticism, rejection, ridiculed, whatever happens? So the ego is the bodyguard, is really your bodyguard. So you understand the work we have to do. That's why it's not an easy thing to be a light worker aligned with everything that you can be. It's only a step by step. So steps can be very accelerated, but most of the time you see that every time you unlock something, your ego starts to trust because you're well supported, because you're in an environment, in a vortex of energy where you feel that it's safe to play with intuitive energies. So once you gently, slowly, but boldly send your ego different visions, different powers, different interests, and you take actions and you do what you're supposed to do to develop your powers, to share them, then your ego doesn't feel like it's all at once. It couldn't. You would implode. So your higher self is, your ego is like, okay, if we just clear some trauma one after the other, that's great. Oh yeah, you want to develop your clairvoyance? Perfect. One bit at a time. If not, it's too much. So your ego is controlling mainly your third dimensional reality. And of course, it holds everything that could stop you, which is doubts, fears, trauma, and everything. Your ego and subconscious mind are really in that bubble that creates you right now, emotionally and physically. But your higher self is so patient that it will always wait for a little breach of calmness, or it could be when we're here today. That's a breach. You have created a breach where your ego feels safe because it knows that when we work with me, it's safe. It knows, it feels it. It feels it. And it doesn't have to be just with me, of course. You could meditate, you could do some healing work, you could walk in the nature. Your ego, during those moments, is not hyper vigilant. Is like, no, it's so much fun to be here. And while that happens, the higher self is there and saying, okay, it's time to do some upgrades. It's time to show my being, my version on earth, that more can happen, more gifts can be expressed, more magic can be developed. So the higher self takes more and more room. So it's a little percentage every time. Again, you don't want your ego to freak out and block all communication. You don't want your body to feel energetically overwhelmed. So that's why it's slow, but it is less slower than it used to be. It's still more rapid. And the more you listen to that conversation you have with your inner divinity, your higher self, and the more you develop your powers and you're active into this. You don't let life show you, okay, what is the next step? No, you're proactive into this development. The more you give room, the more you open breaches in your reality so your higher self can enter, communicate with your ego, and show your ego, look, it's safe to be a channeler. It's safe to be a healer. It's safe to develop your intuitive powers. It's safe to enter in a trance and receive messages from galactic beings and whatever. And the ego might doubt maybe one or twice, but the more you're focused and dedicated on this work, and the more you look for any kind of support to elevate your vibration, so your ego can say, oh yeah, this is a safe environment, I can receive more. Well, then again, your ego trusts more and more. Then the next upgrade you receive, your ego is not like, what is this? Let me first evaluate whether it's safe or not. It lets it in because it recognized the vibration of the higher self. And it recognized the environment you are working with. If you work with me, your higher self, or you're not your higher self, your ego knows already it's safe. If you are meditating in a certain way, using certain tools, after a while, your ego will know it's safe. So that again is the opportunity for your higher self to unlock more codes within you. So the ideal for light workers is simply to have a 50% collaboration. So the higher self is the leader in terms of where it leads you in terms of experience. And the ego is just there to make sure that you're okay in your physicality. But the ego, and that's the ideal work, the ego is like, yeah, I trust you, higher self. You have proven me that all this is safe, even though some other people may say things or struggle to understand what's happening. Me, I've experienced it. You showed it to me. So me, the ego, I trust the process, and I give more power to the higher self to lead my life. So this is exactly what is happening to you all of us. We're giving more and more power to the higher self. So the higher self becomes more and more the leader of our existence. And I say 50-50. Actually, eventually it will be more the higher self leading the experience on earth. I don't know if most of humanity will see this in my lifetime, which I doubt, but I know some of us light workers will be able to say that every action they take, every decision they make, every relationship they build has been guided by the higher self and not by the ego. And then once you feel this, you're aligned. Again, step by step, but you're aligned. So that's what I wanted to clarify, because I received it today so clearly that it's just amazing. It's just simply amazing to know that doesn't matter how fast you go and evolve, it is happening. But the only thing that will support this work, this awakening process within you, it's your implication in the process. What you read, how you meditate, what you do to take care of your physical self, making sure that you feel joy. We talked about that a lot in the Manifesting Your Intuitive Authenticity Masterclass, which will be hopefully very soon as a separate course, just like a little course on its own for those who want to own the whole, I think it was 2 or 3 days together. So joy, do whatever you think will bring you joy. That's the more accessible thing. Do whatever you need to do to develop your intuitive powers. If you feel you're ready, just go and accelerate this, because life around us is accelerating the process anyway. So you cannot stay dormant for very long if you feel the calling within you. So if you haven't downloaded already my Abundant Lightworker Activator, I will put it in the comments. You might not all see it, so that's why I will put it on the screen as well. There it is. There it is. Can we see this? Yes. Perfect. So natalierestore.com/the Abundant Lightworker Activator. It's free. You can download it on your phone, on your computer. It's yours to keep. And that is, if you have been working with me for a while, this activation is not even included in any of my courses. It's true that it's for the beginner, but just because it holds an overall energy, an overall activating energy, even though you worked with me for a while, chances are that will activate you at one level or another. So it's a good thing to keep. And because you can download it, it means that whether you have Wi-Fi or not Wi-Fi, you can access it all the time. So definitely get that, download this and keep it for yourself. So if you have any questions, let me know, as I will slowly end that conversation. Sam says, it definitely resonates, observing more and reacting less now. Yes. And remember, we're all different. So this upgrade, and what is nice is the way they showed it to me today, is that I could really see the percentage of the ego. I could feel the energy of the ego saying, yes, I trust it, because you proved me that it's safe to play with intuitive abilities. You need to reassure your ego. So when you have doubts and you have fears and you doubt yourself, it's not the higher self speaking. It's your ego that is is just acting like a child a little bit, and it is justified. It means that for the ego, there's a reason why you need to be suspicious, you need to be careful, you need to be monitoring everything. It's not only a biological thing, but it's also to protect you. It's encoded in the physical human experience. But we're shifting things around. And the way to shift things is to gently allow the ego to trust that all is fine. And yes, it takes time. You can get help, and I'm here for that. If you really want to feel supported during this ascension process for you, that's my job. I activate people, and we have, of course, a chat with the ego, which is, again, to clear all the blocks you have. When we're talking about blocks, it's the ego holding the blocks, the subconscious mind as well, but it's I'll call it the ego, just to make sure we all understand this. So when we start to clear all those trauma and those blocks, automatically the ego starts to receive new experiences and new gifts and new visions with an open heart, an open mind, and it lets more things in. So just let's be patient, but let's not allow the ego to dominate everything in our reality. If not, we won't go very far, and the evolution is going to be a lot slower. So I hope you enjoyed that conversation. And again, it's a conversation we'll have further in details in the program. We will learn how to have that conversation. We want the ego to talk to the higher self, so they can reassure each other that yes, it's happening as it should, and healing will come as it's supposed to come, and we'll make room for the higher self. That conversation will automatically accelerate the trust you have in your awakening process. All right, beautiful ones. So I wish you a wonderful rest of the day. The more will come definitely in the next weeks. There. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you're watching this as a replay, let me know how you're integrating all this. And again, if you're not part of the Abundant Lightworker group, as I am also sharing this on YouTube, join us. Join us. All you have to do, I'm just looking for the link here. There it is. You can go to Facebook and simply type Abundant and Leading Lightworkers, or specifically this address, and you will find way more stuff than on YouTube. Why? Because we have conversations, because I post things there. So if you're not a member, which is totally free, just join us. All right, beautiful ones. So I wish you a wonderful rest of the day, and I'm sending you big, big hugs. Bye-bye for now.